Ladies and gentlemen, Hex community of all ages, hey, Jake Freedom here, coming to you live from YouTube for this week's Hex Update Saturday for December 12th, 2015, and boy, what a week it has been. Some very surprising announcements. Maybe they were kind of expected, but we just didn't know the severity of what was actually going to happen based off of the Wizards of the Coast, Hex Entertainment, legal issues that were going on earlier in the year. But we'll get to those in just a minute here. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what actually has been going on throughout the week. We had a couple new profiles, the IQ winner profiles from the past two IQ tournaments there. In both articles, both guys there, they seem like pretty standout guys. This one, what's it? Bootlace. This is the one I kind of mentioned last week. I forgot his name. He just goes on to talk about that he really enjoys the game. That he's not really big into streaming or doing to YouTube, but he likes to write, and he does write for hexprimal.com. So if you guys aren't familiar with that website, go ahead and check it out. He has some pretty good articles out there, and he was playing a Ruby Diamond deck. And in his opinion, that's the strongest archetype in Sealed. He goes on to say in the draft portion, things kind of went awry. Ended up playing a weird Ruby Wild Nibbling Skirmisher / Lunge deck, and he says, don't try this at home, but congratulations to him. And the other one was Iglov. He's from Russia. He goes on to talk about, he loves the game. He's been into TCG. He's been within TCGs for about 16 years, and Hex has been the #1 game for him for the past year at least. And he says that the deck he built it for about a couple months. It started out being a Cressida beater and then changed to all tier 1 beaters. And he said the deck is really hard to play, but with his experience he was able to navigate the deck properly and win every single match in his IQ there. And he says he's thinking about doing a YouTube channel, but he wants to wait to do that until after the actual invitational tournament, because he doesn't want to give away all of his secrets to all of us other players. And he goes on to say, what message do you have for everybody else? He sends out a big thanks to everybody who said congratulations to him, and he wants everybody to be on the lookout because he's coming to win. He wants to realize his long dream. His long dream is overdue, I guess. So yeah, congratulations to both of those guys. There's only a couple more left, I think. Well, not a couple, maybe 4 or 5 left to get. So let's see, we had an announcement for a patch, and that patch there consisted of some pretty crazy stuff. I was surprised, to say the least. So core system changes is what it comes down to be here. And when I first started, I'm like, core system changes, what exactly are we changing? Well, Graveyard is now called Crypt, which isn't really a big deal. That's fine. Obviously this is a keyword that somehow you can't use, I guess. Kind of reminds me of Candy Crush. King Games trying to sue Banner Saga for using the name Saga. I'm just not sure how you can do that with certain words. There's only so many words in the English language, but neither here nor there anymore, I guess. The one that really stood out to me, which I don't know if I really agree with, it's kind of 50-50 up on the forums, is the champion's health now vary. My biggest concern with this is that the champion health that it is set now seems like it was set that way for the current meta in the actual game. Cressida's health is 17, and some champions' health is 26. It kind of seems like how they were set based on popularity of champion in the current meta. So my question is, what's going to happen when a new set releases and other champions that have 26 health become popular? Is the champion's health going to always change now? Or are they going to stay like this? And what was the reason behind varying the health? I don't quite understand that. Obviously we can't use 20 because I guess 20 is trademarked for any type of card game. You can't have 20. I didn't know you could trademark a number. But anyway, if 20 isn't allowed to be used, why vary the health? Why do something like that? Why not just set everybody's health to like 21 or whatever, 19, or really piss Wizards of the Coast off and set it at 20.1? I don't know. So it's just, I'm kind of concerned, what are they going to do when a new set comes out and some of these champions that are really high health become popular? Is it going to matter at all? I don't know. We will definitely have to see. So that's the only one that really, really concerns me, just to see how the future is going to play out when different sets roll out. So what the next change was booster packs. Booster packs no longer have 15 cards. Again, something that I guess you can't do in any other TCG. You can't have 15 because that's illegal. Whatever. So now they're going to have 17 cards per pack. You'll still see the 1 rare, the legendary. You have 4 uncommons and 12 common cards. And they said they thoroughly tested this addition to the packs and they're happy with the results in booster draft and sealed decks. So that means in draft it's going to, how's that gonna, I haven't played a draft yet since this patch came out, so I guess we could probably see some cards double wheel now. Maybe that's a new term we can throw out there, double wheel. I'm not sure. So yeah, I don't think that's a huge problem. They didn't really say if primal packs are gonna have more cards in them, or they're still going to be 15. Health on the bosses in the arena, they didn't say anything about that, and I haven't been in the arena to check that out either. So we'll see. Some people don't like that they're adding 17 cards now per pack. It's just going to, make the set worth even less because there's going to be more of it out there. I'm not sure if I agree with that one at all. But some people will say it could have a problem. I don't know if it will have a negative impact in draft or sealed. I wouldn't see that it would, but it could, because there's more possibility to get some of the uncommons that are decent. Be more chance to get those. So maybe it'll kind of shake things up for the better. Who knows? Some of the things here that change that don't affect me because I didn't back the game at this Kickstarter level, the King tier and higher. Everybody was supposed to get a Spectral Lotus Garden. Well, I'm guessing this particular art here has to be changed, and the actual name has to be changed because it looks too much like the Black Lotus. If you're not familiar with what the Black Lotus is, go ahead and look it up. So they changed it to Spectral Oak. Okay. So then the Spectral Lotus went to the Spectral Acorn. Again, these things don't affect me. I didn't back that tier. And then the Black Tiger. I'm not sure about the Black Tiger. This one doesn't really ring any bells, but that went to Dream Squirrel. Whatever, I guess. And it says, did some of the card text change too? I think it did. Like this one here says, when this enters play, draw a card. And the Dream Squirrel, it says, when this enters play, create a random rare or legendary that you meet the threshold requirements to play and put into your hand. So a little bit different. Let's see what else here. Something went away. Oh, there was a card sleeve too that was, I think it was the Spectral Lotus. Those are no longer available, or those aren't going to be a sleeve anymore. And this card here, Murder, we talked about this last week, I think it was, on the forums. It was already Kill, and I had checked in my stash and whatnot. It was still Murder, but obviously this card went from Murder to Kill. And that is because there's a card in MTG that is called Murder. So, and again, I guess you can't have cards with the same names. I don't know, whatever. So in the conclusion here, they say, we appreciate your understanding of these changes and we will not be discussing them outside of this communication. With these systems settled, we are excited to move forward with HEX. Thanks for playing HEX Shards of Fate and best of luck in your battles. So they just kind of shut it down right there. No more talking about it. So I'm sure there's probably some type of clause in the agreement where, not a clause, but something in the agreement that says, hey, don't talk about this. This is a gag order. You're not going to explain why you did this. You just have to do this stuff. Fine, I guess. I haven't noticed anything else other than those things that they said. These are the only keywords that have changed: graveyard to crypt, and from murder to kill. So again, the health is a big concern for me, but maybe it won't be. Maybe it won't be a big deal. Night of Bells 2013 gift. This, if you were playing in 2013, you will know that this didn't happen. We didn't get this, and we didn't get it last year either. So this year, anybody who played during Alpha will receive 4 copies of Night of Bells, and I checked and I do have that, so that's cool. If you weren't playing during Alpha, you still should have one copy. in your account if you had an account before December 10th, 2015. So that's kind of neat that they did that for everybody. Let's see, what else do we have here? A new PvE card. They say contain your excitement here. It says containment sphere. It's a 3 casting cost artifact, and for six resources you can sacrifice this and put target troop into your hand. That's expensive. And it has a couple slots here. Containment slippers, and it is your containment spheres instead have 6. Sacrifice this. Gain targets instead. I'm sorry. Let me start over there again. Your sphere instead have, for 6 resources, sacrifice this, gain target troop's threshold, put that troop into your hand. It's kind of nice. And then oddly shaped sphere, your containment spheres have, for 6 resources, sacrifice this, put all opposing beasts into your hand, gain all thresholds those troops have. So that's kind of an interesting card. Against PvE, I'm not really up on the PvE stuff a whole heck of a lot, just because there's not really a whole lot to do yet, and I haven't really, I wouldn't say I haven't really cared to play, but just haven't. Yeah, so that is kind of the news this week, and the changes were definitely kind of crazy. See, earlier this week I was just kind of browsing through the forums and saw somebody talking about pack prices, and the pack prices are basically are plummeting, are falling down. And one player went to go on and write an article basically about how he uses his packs to sell, to be able to keep playing, if you want to use the word infinite, without having to put more money into the game every week just to keep playing, like some of us do. And he made this big long debate on that this is really bad for the game, that the pack prices are so low because he can't sell enough of them, and people just don't want them. Set 3 is just awful set, and it is definitely a lower valued set. Don't get me wrong, even the primal packs sell for a lot lower. Set 1 and 2 are 2,000, 2,100 platinum, and set 3 pack or primal packs are right around the 750. So hopefully with the introduction of set 4, whenever that may be, maybe the prices of set 3 will come back up. Well, first they'll fall a little bit, and then maybe they'll come back up because maybe we'll be introduced into some new synergies or something where it'll make set 3 a little more viable. Obviously the drafts will be 3-3-4 or maybe something like that, and sealed will consist of 3 packs of 3 and 3 packs of 4. Who knows what they'll do, but hopefully that'll bring the value up a little bit. I'm not sure. We will definitely have to wait and see. What else do we got here? Oh, another article I was just kind of browsing through. Somebody's talking about the shuffler again, and they were going through all of these like different math solutions, math equations, and this is that, and probability and statistics and all sorts of stuff. And the shuffler made, I don't know, how do I want to explain it here? The shuffler is, I don't want to say it's broken, because it's not. Obviously it works, but it does things that we probably aren't not familiar with, used to. Because when you shuffle a card of decks with your hand, it's probably not as efficient as it is when a computer shuffles something. And they go on to talk about how things are clustered together, like resources and non-resource cards. They get clustered and this, that, and the other thing. It's, I don't know I don't know. Yes, everybody has noticed that, where you'll start your opening hand will be 2 resources and 5 other cards, and then you draw 3 cards straight, no resources, or you'll have an opening hand of 5 resources and 2 cards, and you draw 3 resources or 4 resources in a row. Yeah, that sucks. That does happen. It seems like it happens a lot, but I don't track it. So, all humans are programmed to remember the negative stuff and not necessarily the positive things. But it sounds like people who do track this stuff, the math is right on par where it's supposed to be. Whether or not that on par is correct or not, I don't know. I used to always go back and link an article that Alan Cromer put out talking about PRNG, and somebody pointed out that article is bullshit, basically. I don't know. I don't write shufflers for card games, so I wouldn't know, but whatever. It is what it is. What else we got here? Let's do this. Let's look at HEX price. It's one of those things. that I wanted to start to kind of get into, and it's interesting to see some of the cards here. Last week I looked at it, and Vampire King was on top, and he was like 32 or 3,300 platinum. He's still going up now, or still up, but he was down from last week or 2 weeks ago. So it's kind of interesting to see what cards are kind of going on there. And Vampire King is so expensive. I only have one. I've had 3. I've given 2 away. So, oh well, it's a good card. I mean, I wish I had more of them. I've actually asked a couple of players if I could borrow some for some tournaments and whatnot, and that definitely helped out. So Vampire King, yeah, it's a good card. Number 1 is the Quash Ridge Tusker alternate art card. It's kind of interesting to see that there's 3 alternate arts on top here. So some people are obviously collecting those. And then Reese is kind of still up there. I think he's still up there. He's been on there for a while. So anyway, it's just interesting to see what cards are moving and what cards are not moving. I don't have the daily losers up on here, but the number 1 daily loser is Haster's Tears, and number 2 is Eye of Creation. Exile Bard is going for, Exile Bard AA is actually going for 800 median. That's kind of crazy. I've got 4 of those, but I'll keep them just because, you know, the only way to get those was to back the Bard Tales of a Bard Tales 4, whatever it was, whatever game that was, I don't know. Anyway, what else do we have? We have the HEX meta, and that is actually, you know, the meta is so wide open. If you see this here, I mean, it's very diverse anymore, and it's great to see that. And people, I think one of the last IQ winners, not one of the last ones, one of the before, he's talking about how the meta is so wide open that it's really fun to play. Maybe it was the guy talking about the packs. Could have been that player. Him talking about the packs and whatnot. How it's fun for him he only plays constructed because of the current state of meta, and it definitely has come around. There's a lot of viable options out there, and what you're looking at here is just the gauntlet tournaments from last week. And again, it's, you know, it's a diverse field, which is great. The Winter Moon deck, I've heard some people talk about that they don't like that deck. They call it a fog deck. I looked at the actual deck itself, and I'm not sure why it's called Fog. I didn't ask why it was called Fog, but just a couple Cressida decks in here. You know, I don't know if it's actually called Cressida. I call it Cressida, but you know, I heard I think Infamous Neo, he said Cressida. It flows off the tongue a little better than Cressida, but so I'll just call it Cressida. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of Ruby. You know, a lot of Ruby out there, which is good. Still, there's still Mono Blood is up there. That's as good as well. That's good too. So. Yeah, that's about it for the news this week, I think. Let's just get rid of those windows there, close these down, get into the game, and let's see what we got for this week's pack. But first of all, let's go ahead and announce the winners for last week. And if you were watching last week's video, you know that we cracked open the Primal Pack, opened it, looked at all the cards, and all you had to do was comment, tell me what your favorite card was out of the pack, and you'd be entered in for the drawing to receive the entire pack. So that winner is a Frostwind, so congratulations, y'all get those 15 cards mailed out to you after the video is done, and the daily pack winner, the weekly pack winner goes to Pseudosphere. So again, congratulations there. Let's go ahead and crack this week's pack. Just a boring old regular Armies of Myth pack. Dang it, no. We do have another Primal pack. I got that. I bought 4 or 5 packs to do a draft or something like that, and Proctor Primal pack. So we have one for the end of the month. What is this pack going to consist of? Oh, they had to change the layout too. I haven't opened a pack yet since they've added the 17. So the layout looks a little bit different. It kind of sucks for the way I have to flow now. Okay, let's see where the commons are all up here. All right. Okay, so let's go and start with the commons. We got Granite Giant, Incubate, Stinkhorn Soup, Vine Lash, Hemp Seed Dryad, Lunacy, Pride's Fall, Entangling Webs, Ether Caller, Shadowblade Assassin, Spirit Eagle, and Scraptooth Cackler. Rounding out the commons and uncommons, we have Arachnophobia, Mesa Lookout, Scrapyard Bruiser, and Temptatious Blade Dancer. And for our rare, we have Purge, 7 casting cost, single diamond threshold. Target a troop you control, void all troops that don't share a trait with it. It's a very powerful card in draft, and especially draft. It can be very powerful in sealed too. So I like that card in those particular formats. In constructed, I don't know about it in constructed. So, all right, put that away, stash that away, and we got a rare chest, right? Yeah, it's a rare chest. It's cool. So, let me know what your top 5 picks are for this week's pack in the comments down below. If you want to let me know something else other than your top 5 picks, be sure to do so. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of these, get on these pack drawings and giveaways and whatnot, be sure to click subscribe down below, and we'll have another video for you soon.